What is up, everybody? My name is Dalton Schaefer, and I'm a worship pastor at my local church. This is my channel, Spirit Truth. Today, I wanted to talk about why it's important to develop your team. Let's jump in. And as we talk about developing our teams, this is a little different than most of the videos I make because I normally would have already put a video up this week, but I couldn't record one because I was pretty sick. I'm actually recovering right now from having COVID. I still have a little bit of the lingering symptoms, but for the most part, I'm a lot better. But because of having COVID, I actually had to miss the last 2 Sundays in a row at my church. And that's what I want to talk about, developing our teams to be ready for the unexpected, the times where we don't know that we're not going to be able to be there, and yet we can't come and lead worship. We can't even come into the offices to set up tech and get everything ready. And so I just want to tell you a little bit about what happened the last couple of weeks at our church and what it's taught me moving forward. Well, first, I'm super thankful for our church and our team, our volunteers. I woke up 2 Sundays ago at 1 o'clock in the morning on Sunday morning with a fever and chills. I was really sick. And I knew I wasn't going to be able to lead worship. And so I waited until about 4 o'clock to start texting people because I didn't want to wake up anyone. And I had to let my team know I wasn't going to be able to come in for worship. And it was a little bit of a scramble. Luckily, I do serve at a church with multiple campuses and multiple worship pastors. And one of our worship pastors was able to come in and fill my space. We actually have more worship pastors than we have campuses. So we have the ability to have some guys kind of float between the different campuses. And that's not always the norm for when I'm out. But in this particular case, he was already going to come in and play electric guitar on our team. So it was a pretty easy swap to just have him step up and lead worship that morning. And unfortunately, several of our team actually ended up getting sick, and several others are quarantining anyways to be safe. And so we ended up having to do an acoustic set kind of last minute. But our team's really good. They pivoted, they changed some songs, and everything went well for Sunday. The only thing we had a hiccup is we couldn't figure out the audio for the live stream. And so it didn't come through our normal board audio. It came through just the laptop audio from the computer we were using for the live stream, and that's pretty unusual, and we couldn't troubleshoot it, and I couldn't troubleshoot it from my house even though I tried, but we got through the day and that was okay. But then I wasn't able to go into work last week, so I also couldn't set up any of the tech for the following Sunday. However, there are several guys on my team who I have taught how to do all of that, but unfortunately, those guys also had to be out. And so I had to try to figure out how to get everything set up. Luckily, we have some volunteers who know enough about the programs we use to get a lot of it set up, but it also exposed some of the areas that I can grow in. One is I hadn't really taught very many people how to set up ProPresenter. I do it every week, and it's part of my job, and I don't mind setting it up. And so I haven't taken the time to actually teach our volunteers, in case of an emergency, how they can set all of that up on their own. And now I realize that, and I can take steps to make sure I'm training my volunteers in that particular area. Another area I realized I hadn't trained volunteers on is how to set up the lights from scratch. I've taught some of my guys how to go in and edit lighting cues when it's already built, but I've not taught anybody how to do it start to finish from nothing. And I didn't realize that until this week when I really needed someone else to go in and prep all the lights for Sunday. Luckily, we were able to use an old cue, and my team was able to really figure out how to make it work. We even were able to get the audio to the live stream working this week. The same volunteer was running it, and he was able to troubleshoot that and get it figured out. And so I'm super thankful for volunteers who are willing to troubleshoot and work hard and try to figure out things while I'm out. But it also exposed some areas for me that I'm planning now to do some intentional training in the coming weeks or months for my tech team specifically. Now, my worship team, I was super impressed with as well. While I was out 2 weeks, we had a guy come in and fill in again this past Sunday with my whole worship team, and they did an amazing job. Everyone stepped up, and you would have never known that that things had to change. And I don't know if you can tell, I am still a little sick, but I'm getting better and I can't wait to get back to lead with my team. But what I learned this week is that we have to be prepared for things that we're not always expecting to happen. You don't always know that you're going to wake up on Sunday morning and not be able to lead for several weeks in a row. And so you have to have things in place just in case. And so a couple of the recommendations I have is think about who are the people on your team that you can train to prepare the tech. Who is someone on your team that you're training to be able to lead shepherding moments and scripture reading? Who else on your team is leading songs for when you can't be there to lead? Luckily, we have a lot of people on our worship team who are very strong leaders. And so I've got several people that I can, with confidence, put up to talk on stage and to lead shepherding moments and scripture readings and corporate prayers and leading the songs. And I don't have any hesitation to put them up and lead because they're gifted and called. And we've worked with them to grow in those areas. And so think about who those people are on your team. Who are you training? And I just encourage you, no matter how big or small your team is, take the time to think about who you can invest in, who you can hand things off to, so that when you can't be there, your team can still lead well. Thanks for watching. Like this video, subscribe to my channel for updates about future videos that I release. And as always, let's continue to lead our churches and lead our teams in biblically formed worship in spirit and truth. I'll see you in the next video.